What's the best speaker? What's the best speaker? Who knows? Well, I'm here today to talk to you about speakers. Speakers. So, I get a lot of comments and questions asking, what speaker should I buy? What's the best speaker? What do you recommend? How do I put this? There is no best speaker. There is no. There is no best speaker for anyone. What I say is really good for me is not going to be good for everyone else. The reason? These. See these things here? These? They're called ears. Every person's hearing is different. A lot of people go to these message boards, they go on YouTube, whatever, and they'll be like, what's the best speaker? But no one can actually answer that for you. This is a question that you need to figure out yourself. Because how I hear sound is not going to be the same as how you hear sound. So basically, you need to go to the shops yourselves and listen to speakers. Second thing, frequency responses. A lot of people say, oh, this speaker's got a bad frequency response. Look at the graph. It's like, there's no treble. Or, oh, look at the mids. It's all everywhere. Looking at a frequency response graph and using that to base what speakers you buy is a really silly idea. The moment you get a loudspeaker, say, this speaker, this is a Bose Cube, say this in an anechoic chamber is perfectly flat. I know it's not, but for a moment, think it is. This is a perfectly flat speaker in an anechoic chamber, so there's no echoes, anything. But now Joe Bloggs goes and sets this up in his house. It's not going to be flat. The frequency response is going to be all over the place. For the simple fact of, you've got couches, you've got walls, you've got everything around you, and that affects the frequency response. So even you go to a shop and listen to it, that's not going to be exactly what it sounds like in your house. It's not. So a lot of companies offer like a 30-day, 90-day money-back guarantee, especially, well, I know Bose offers a 90-day. A fair few other companies of Definitive Technology also have the same thing. That's your break-in period. That's like you get to listen to the speaker. Oh, that doesn't look good. I've got a warning on the camera saying I'm over temperature. So with frequency responses, don't look at graphs. My best advice for buying new speakers would be go into a shop, bring your favorite music with you, sit down in front of the speakers, say a normal distance, close your eyes and just listen to it. Ignore anything on a spec sheet. Just ignore it. It doesn't mean anything. A speaker can have a horrible frequency response on a graph, but to your ears, it may sound absolutely beautiful. Other people are going to hate and say, you've got to look at a frequency response. Oh, look at me, I've got $1,000 speaker wire. Nonsense. I will be talking about speaker wire next, don't you worry. Use your ears, not your eyes. Yes, you can go slightly for aesthetics. There are good-looking speakers out there, and there are bad-looking speakers. If you don't care about how something looks, use your ears. Don't even look at the speaker you're gonna buy. If you care truly about audio, don't even look at the speaker. Just use your ears. Nothing else. Just sit in front of the speaker, close your eyes, and listen. Nothing else. Now, second thing, buying speaker wire for speakers. I have a video coming out soon to actually test this. It's not going to be very scientific for the simple of I'm just going to be A and Bing a set of speakers. You'll see a lot of companies, the one I see on Facebook the most is called Morrow Audio, and they are always promoting how their speaker wire makes speakers sound better. It's not true. There's reviews and claims that it makes the speaker sound like day and night. I can't even get over how stupid that is to say. No wire is going to make a difference to how your speakers sound. Buy yourself some freaking lamp cord. It's the same stuff. Sure, you might have shielded speaker cables. If you're going over like 50 feet of wire or something, maybe it makes a difference. But it's going to be so small, you're not going to notice. Just buy yourself some dollar meter speaker cable, and it's going to be perfectly fine. I have some $200 meter speaker wire in the shed, and I've got some. Well, there it is here. I got some of this stuff, which is like stupendously thin wire, and I've listened to them both. They sound no different. How can they? It's the same with HDMI cables now. There's a whole market saying, buy a HDMI cable, it's going to give you better picture quality. That's impossible. And they get very angry when you question them on this. The simple fact of HDMI is a digital signal. It's ones and zeros. There's nothing else. Now, a cable is either going to work or it's going to not work. There is no, it's going to be better by having better quality cables. It's just, that's not how it works. Things like composite cables, RCAs, maybe a little bit, a squeegee bit, but it's not going to help you very much. So, just buy a decently priced cable, spend the extra money on the speakers, and don't worry about the cables. It's not going to make you a difference. Now, let's talk about choices on speakers. You've got floor standing speakers, bookshelf, and satellite. You all know I like Bose. I do. I like Bose. Shoot me. I'm not an audiophile. I've owned many great speakers, and if you took 5 minutes to look on my channel, you'd see, hey, I own Paradigm Signature Series speakers. I've owned JBL LS60s, which are, yeah, they're both $5,000 a pair speakers in my country. They're not cheap speakers. And honestly, I found them boring. They're a boring speaker. They're flat. There's no excitement. And that comes from having a basic flat frequency response. There is no excitement there. Nothing is pushed up. And I know that's how it's meant to be in the audiophile world. But for everyday listeners, that's not how you want it to be. Thing with Bose is they do lack in the mids. Say from 150 hertz to 200 hertz to 250, there is a bit of a dip. And it is there, trust me. But people say they have no highs. Actually, that may be you. Fun fact, when you get above the age of 25, your ability to hear high frequencies diminishes. And it diminishes very quickly. So that also might be why you don't hear any highs from these, because I've run a sound test at, 18.5 kilohertz. I'm getting on it, but I'm getting old. And I can still hear that going, and it's a really horrible noise, but you can hear it, so there is definitely highs there. The Acoustimass module plays happily down to the 30s. I play decaf music. I used to be into car audio a lot. I love car audio, and I like bass. And the bass module does a pretty damn good job. So, I mean, if you can find a Bose system at a cheap price, I definitely say look into it. I mean, it's the same with any brand of speaker. Don't listen to someone else's opinion. That's what always annoyed me with people like Falcon Laser, who just outright bash Bose and say go buy Paradigm. And I called him out, and then I said, I'll buy both. And that's exactly what I did. I bought a lifestyle system, and I bought a pair of, I think they were $5,500 Paradigm speakers. Big floor standing speakers with 7-inch woofers in them. Then I had to spend extra money to buy an amplifier and speaker cable, lamp cord. And I wasn't that impressed, to be honest. Part 2 coming up soon.